Hello, everyone. This is Dr. LaShawn Smith Favors again with you today. I told you it was gonna get deep, and it's gonna get deep. Okay. So the thing about it is, when I say deep, it's just basically things that we're gonna have some aha moments, and we're gonna say, "What you say? What in the world? Why wasn't I taught that? Why didn't I know that?" You know, because that's what I said. I'm telling you, this information will knock the socks off your feet. So we're gonna delve in, and this is for seasoned believers, or I think just anybody who wanted to receive His word, because His word is just so awesome. It's real, it's true, and it's alive. It never returns into its void, and it is something that I think that all you need is. So let me scratch seasoned believers. Let me just say, if you have rich soil that want to be fed and want some seeds and want to grow, you need this, because this is necessary. So we're going to delve into the book of Daniel and the book of Revelations. I would like for you guys to read that book of Daniel and read Revelations chapter 13. Now, the reason why I'm telling you to read that is because you'll understand a little bit, because I'm going over a synopsis of what the word said, what the word did, prophecy being fulfilled, what was, what is, and what's to come. And so you'll have more of a base and understanding. And again, read it for yourself. This is simply fellowship. This is simply like sharing something that you've been so blessed with that you just have to share it, because God doesn't put it in us to keep it to ourselves. He wants us to share it. And so when you get it, hey, I tell you, it's beautiful. So the book of Daniel, if you're familiar with King Nebuchadnezzar, and Daniel, Daniel, the one that was in the lion's den, the one that prayed when King Nebuchadnezzar was like, nobody can pray except to me, and if you do, you go to jail. Yeah, that Daniel I'm talking about. Well, Daniel was a cold piece. Daniel was like, he was so amazing. He had the gift of interpreting dreams and having a relationship with God, where God let him know what it's all about, what needs to be done, and why he gave dreams to certain people. Well, King Nebuchadnezzar, he was like, look, I had a dream, and I'm not gonna tell none of my magicians, none of my witches, none of my all the people that look into the future, fortune tellers, whatever. I'm not gonna tell you guys what my dream was about, but I'm gonna since you guys supposed to know and read minds and know what I want you to tell me what it is. And if you don't tell me, I'm gonna have all y'all killed, including your families. So everybody was like, oh my God, well, they were running like chickens with their heads cut off. So anyways, they were like, hey, Daniel, you gotta help us out. So anyhow, Daniel went to the Father, prayed. The Lord revealed his dream to him, and what dream he had. And King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and it was basically about this. I'm gonna show you just half of it. It was about this statue, okay? And also, look, let me show you this. I call them statues, and do you see each one have a different color? And each one had their own mascot. Well, in the book of Daniel, Daniel told him about that dream. He told him about the statue. He told him about what the statue meant. He told him about the head of the statue was made of gold, and that represented Daniel's King Nebuchadnezzar's nation, or his empire. And it talked about that it's gold, And that's what it represents. It's the strongest, and the ones that come after it are going to overthrow, but they'll be weaker, as they, as one overthrows another, to get weaker and weaker and weaker. So that's why we have the top is gold. The chest here is silver. This here, bronze. The legs, iron. And the feet are made of iron and clay. Now, each one of these elements represented a kingdom. But in the book of Daniel, it said beast. Book of Daniel had a dream after he told King Nebuchadnezzar about what his dream was about, and he told him what it meant. Daniel had a dream, and Daniel was like, oh my God, he was so took. He was shook, what in the world was that? And basically the dream, the Lord said, look, told him about what it meant, okay? But it got Daniel so shook that he was sick. And so it was oh my goodness. And guess what? Daniel dreamed about the day we're living in today, about the time that we're living in today. So it was what? So anyways, and for him to have a dream about that, and when he woke up, it was like a nightmare, because he was whoa, what are y'all's time, our time, people, what are we doing? So it was oh my goodness, right? So look, Daniel, then, after he told King Nebuchadnezzar about what the statue meant, what each segment of the statue meant, which it represented beasts, which in the book of Daniel explains that beast means government, nations, or kingdoms. That's what it means. Okay, so that's what a beast mean. And that's the thing you have to understand too, is that the Bible is a different language. The language, it's if you don't speak Italian and somebody starts to speak Italian to you, and you I don't know, not one word in Italian, you're not going to understand me. So the thing about it is, when you delve in the word, it is a different language. So just for instance, respect. Respect is in the Bible, it's fear God, right? God don't want us trembling and scared of him. It means to respect him. So we got to understand that the language is different. And when you don't understand that, things could get lost in translation. And we'll talk about that more, about the Bible, how some words, when it was translated from the original, that we got some words in there that shouldn't be in there. It's lost in translation. But when you read the Bible holistically, you understand that word don't fit. And unless you want it to fit your lifestyle, so you could do things that holistically reading the Bible is not right to do. We'll get into that later too. But back to the statue and Daniel and King Nebuchadnezzar. So he talked about these kingdoms. He talked about each kingdom. And this kingdom represented Babylon. This kingdom here, the torso, overthrew Babylon, and that was Greece. Medo-Persia. And then Medo-Persia was weaker than Babylon, but guess what? Weaker army, everything. But anyways, they overthrew them though. I wonder why. Keep reading. It's really great. But anyhow, Medo-Persia took over Babylon, overthrew them. Then we have the bronze represents Greece, and Greece overthrew Medo-Persia. Then Rome. So then you have Rome, and you see how it's two separate legs. It's two legs where Rome was divided. Okay. So, and as we know, Rome was divided, correct? So look at your history. You can look in your history books and you could tell, you know about that. But anyhow, Rome was divided, and Rome then was overthrown. And so Rome was overthrown by many. It just just scrambled all over the place. But anyhow, right now we at the feet. The feet is iron and clay. And when you're at the feet, iron and clay just don't mix. So when you're at the feet, that means, all right, guys, I got really excited and I didn't want to give you too much of an overload, but I want you to read the book of Daniel and the book of Revelations. Specifically that I'm going to go over is book of Revelations chapter 13 and Daniel. Daniel, just read the whole book. It is so lovely. It's so lovely. And it's not a hard read. It's not, difficult to read. It's not long. It's precise to the point, just right. It's beautiful. So delve into the book of Daniel. And I didn't want to give you an overload, but guess what? We are at the feet. There's no nation, government, kingdom, empire that comes after it. So the only thing that comes after it is, whoa, hold on. What comes after it, I'm not going to tell you. Read, and guess what? We'll talk about it in part 2. It's awesome.